Hans Rey was born in Germany, holds a Swiss passport, and has lived in the US for several years. He's famous for his abilities on a bike and pioneering the free ride movement. He's been a world champion, a TV star, an ambassador, a philanthropist, and continues to develop, adapt, and lead the way.
Well, the Hans Rey Adventure Team was a natural progression of my whole career. You know, after I was finished with competing and doing, I wanted to use my extreme skills in more like a natural way, like on an expedition and do first descent, go up mountains and ride them down where nobody thought it was possible or nobody had done it before, or at least ride more than anybody had ridden before on certain sections. And every time I have some different guest riders, along with me on the trip, whoever kind of fits the bill for the style of riding. And a lot of times we're in search of something mysterious or historical, or we traverse a mountain range in the footsteps of somebody. Like, for example, a few years ago I went to Egypt and crossed the Sinai Peninsula, in the footsteps of Moses, and we went to all these biblical sites, and we did the first descent of Mount Sinai, which was quite challenging at all these rocky steps. A couple years ago I went to Copper Canyon with Brian Lopes and April Lawyer, and we rode one of those classical old mining trails down deep into the Copper Canyon and ended up in Batopilas, this old mining town. And it's a very incredible place, the Copper Canyon, because they still have these Indians living there, the Tarahumaras, which some of them still live like in caves, and they live very primitive there, and you see them along the way, and they're quite interesting. It's a quite interesting culture, It's a great way to combine all my interests. Biking, my interest in archaeology or in history and mystery, and also I love to travel, Then the people you meet along the way, that's the coolest thing, You meet all kinds of people from all sorts of life, and a lot of times these people are really poor for our standards in the Western world in terms of material stuff, but they're very rich in life and in heart, and they're happy people, That's a lesson right there to be learned, that to really enjoy the moment and, deal with what you got and don't worry about too much what you don't have.
But sometimes people have a need that is beyond a mere toy or fitness equipment. Hans decided to create a charity to fulfill that need. What else could it be but bikes?
If you live in a remote village somewhere anywhere in the world, in India and Africa, and the next school is 10 kilometers away, or the hospital is 20 kilometers away, the biggest town with the market or where there's jobs for the parents are too far away to walk. And these people, a lot of these places, they make less than $1 a day, and if they take a public bus, it costs them 20 cents a day, so they cannot afford that. They have to feed 5 or 6 children. Or a lot of places don't even have public transportation, and it's too far to walk. So having a bike can make a huge difference and really can help people to get out of this vicious poverty cycle, because once you're in there, it's really hard to get going somewhere. And we buy the bikes in the country usually, which fuels the local economy. It helps the people to find spare parts if they ever need some, because the bikes are already in that country. And it saves us all the hassles of shipping and custom and all that stuff, which would cost much more money. So that's kind of the philosophy behind this, and through all my travels I've seen how people use the bikes and how if they had a bike they could really better their lives. And I want to show people that the gift of giving is actually very rewarding, Yeah, it would be nice to have Bill Gates throw me a few $1 million, but I'm as happy of the $5 bill some kid gives me or so, and I want to show everybody they can make a difference. It doesn't need to be the Bill Gates, and if a lot of people give $1, that's also one Bill Gates, and there's a lot of ways people can help without necessarily opening their wallet, and they can spread the message, they can link our website, they can do things, they can do a little fundraiser. And then I have certain companies like Crank Brothers, they designed a special pedal in the Rasta colors, and it's a BMX platform pedal, but it comes in the Rasta colors, and they donated $10 per pair to the charity, basically all their profits. But what's even more important than that is the awareness. A product like this raises, you know, the box, the packaging is really cool and it explains Wheels for Life. And Chris King is working now on a headset in the Rasta colors. So there's a lot of things going, and we're growing at a very comfortable pace, but it's important to ship food and medications to all these countries. But look what bikes can do, and maybe some of your money should also go towards bikes in the future. The best way to find out is about on the internet. You know, you go to our website, which is wheels 4, the number 4, and then life.org. And that has all the contact information, how to help. It gives you ideas how to do a fundraiser, it shows you pictures of people who received bikes and people. We have some people on there who need a bike, but most of them haven't gotten a bike in the meantime. But there's millions of people who need a bike, you know. So we just got started, and the website has all the information one needs to know.
That was it. Remember, live your dreams. I'm out of here. Hans Rey from Switzerland.